Hey, everybody. Welcome to the official Do Good Better podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Kirby. And of course, this special edition, one of our mini podcasts that we're interviewing pretty awesome people who do pretty great things in their own nonprofit. My guest today, the director at Miracles for Vets, Beth Delgado. How are you, Beth? Welcome to the official Do Good Better podcast.
Thank you. I'm good.
If somebody's scrolling through iTunes, they're looking at YouTube and they're saying Miracles for Vets, I like the sound of that, but I have no idea what you do. Give us a high-level view on who you are, what you do, and why we're chatting today.
Well, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And we have several programs. One is a vehicle donation program. People can donate vehicles that aren't quite operational or that they just don't want to keep anymore. We'll fix them up. We've got a garage where we do work. The CEO himself is actually a mechanic and a veteran, and he makes sure those vehicles are operational and safe, and then we'll either donate them to a veteran who doesn't have a vehicle or give or sell them very low cost. We also have a vehicle maintenance program where we will do maintenance on vehicles for veterans at low cost to no cost, depending on what it is. And we have a workforce transition program as well for people who are exiting the military, wanting to get back into civilian forces. We can help them do their resume and cover letter. We're hoping to get a suit or boots to suits type program going where people can donate suits, and then a veteran would go away with a suit that they can wear to interviews.
That's fantastic. 2021 was a really weird year for a lot of us, but everybody had at least one win, big, small, medium, everything in between. What's a really awesome win that you can share with the listening audience that Miracles for Vets had in 2021?
We got to hold a holiday banquet for veterans at no cost to them. They came, enjoyed the fellowship and time together, the stories, the laughter, and a really wonderful meal.
That's pretty great. And it's especially great when nobody had gotten to see each other for a very long time. And so just the mere fact that you can get together, and I think probably, I'm guessing, camaraderie in the veteran community is probably one of those needed little pieces to the puzzle for both mental health and mental wellness and just all around general beings. That's a pretty great win, right?
Yes.
I love it. Challenges galore. They always have been. Some of the biggest ones that we've seen was over the past 2 years. What's a challenge that you have faced over the last year? How'd you overcome that?
Well, since I just came into this in the fall, basically, I'm not sure exactly what challenges they had in early 2021, but part of it was that people weren't receiving the income or monetary resources that they had, so donations were a little bit less. And so we had to figure out ways to still be able to do our programs and help veterans with lower finances.
What was the solution to that?
I started sending letters out to businesses in the organization, and donations started coming in.
Was it as simple as that? Did you have to do any groundwork? Was this all cold letters? How did that work? I do work from the office. And then when I'm out in the community, I will hand business cards out. I will let people know about the organization. And then the CEO is often out in the community as well, networking. So what you're telling me is you just have to have boots on the ground and actually do the work, and the money comes in. That's a really interesting concept of how you raise some money, Beth. Yep. And you have not been at this career path very long. Then a lot of people who listen to some of these particular podcasts are also accidental fundraisers. How did you get started? How did you get recruited to work? Because this isn't your main gig. You didn't go to school to be a professional fundraiser and director of a nonprofit, did you? I didn't. I actually met the CEO, Larry Mendivil, back in 2015. And we lost contact for that, but then early last year ran into each other at Walmart of all places. And I just asked him if he needed help in the office organizing things or doing bookkeeping or anything, because I have an accounting degree, thought I could help in some way. And he said, sure. And I hadn't heard from him, so I called in February of last year. The next day I was here organizing receipts, doing book work and things like that. And then the former treasurer resigned. Larry asked me if I wanted to take on the treasurer position, and I said, sure. So then the day I was getting sworn in, the board of directors said, but wait, we also want to make you secretary treasurer. And I was joking, and I said, how much more will I have to do? And they're like, but wait. I said, oh, there's more. Yeah, we'd like to make you a director too.
how much more will I have to do? So even though I'm here primarily as a secretary treasurer, I try to help in any aspect that I can. And I'm really having fun doing it.
Again, it's the accidental fundraiser that I think a lot of people can relate. And since you have not been doing it a very long time, you probably have a limited amount of brain sort of memory on what's really working and what's really not. For those who are listening who have also found themselves sort of thrown into the fundraising or directing or nonprofit thing, what's a piece of advice that you would give someone in a similar situation that you wish you knew then, that you know now, that you'd like to pass on to the next generation of folks who are in the nonprofit world?
The most important thing I think that I would recommend, because I face this here, is getting all your ducks in a row as far as your documentation. That is so vital and so key. And so I'm working towards having binders for different areas where all that paperwork is organized. And we actually have a filing system now, which they didn't have an official filing system before. And it really, really helps.
Hey, we love documentation here on the official Do Good Better podcast, specifically for Wednesdays. If you've been paying attention over the last couple of years. Beth, thanks so much for being a guest. How on earth do people find you? How do people find Miracles for Vets? How do they get a hold of you? How do they give you money? And how do they contact all the things to find out more about you?
Well, we have a Facebook page under Miracles for Vets Charity. And then we also have a website. And hold on, I don't have that information available at the moment, but which I've never done a podcast, so.
Yeah, but guess what? We get to have that all in the show notes. So we're going to drop all the links in the channels. And I think it would be really good for those of you who are listening, who have a veteran-based organization or who work with veterans, whether it's part of the mental wellness groups or volunteer opportunities or whatever it is. Go find Miracles for Vets. Go click in the show notes. Go get a hold of Beth and get a hold of her and say, how can I help? Because you're doing amazing things. Beth, thank you so much for being on this very special episode of the official Do Good Better podcast.
Thank you.